Don't kill the cat! Ah! Ah! Hello. Welcome to Don't Kill the Cat number 4. Let's get into it, right? Today, we're going to look at... These are my questions and I'm seeking the answers online. Mostly in Wikipedia. Oh, quote of the day. This is actually the one that I looked up the second episode. But yeah, whatever. Sorry, this was a letdown.
No gaming videos this week. I'm sorry. My Delgado's been stolen.
I'm happy to announce that I fixed my codes. I automated it. We're looking up Don't Kill the Cat! Ah! Guest or the guest may refer to a person who is given hospitality. Guest, host seems like it might be connected etymologically, the word host. Hospitality derives from the Latin hospice, meaning host, guest, or stranger. There we go, they're connected right there in its origin. Hospice is formed from hostis, which means stranger or enemy, hostile, root for another word. The latter being in terms where hostile derive. By metonymy, the Latin word hospitalis means a guest chamber, guest's lodging, an inn. Hospice, hostis, is thus the root for the English word host, hospitality, hospice, hostel, and hotel. Etymology, guest. Old English, geist, Anglian guest, an accidental guest, a chance comer, a stranger. From Proto-Germanic gastis, a source also of Old Frisian gest, Dutch Gast, German Gast. Obviously they're related. In Bulgarian it's Gost. I've heard that a language of a nearby country it's host or hosta for plural. Gosti is the Bulgarian plural. Guest, originally stranger, from pi, root, pi, whatever that means. Gosti, stranger. Guest, host. Source also of Latin, hostis, and earlier use a stranger. In classical use, an enemy, host, hostile. The root sense meaning that they're a foreigner to your place, wherever you are. According to Watkins, probably is someone with whom one has reciprocal duties of hospitality. Spelling evolution influenced by Old Norse. Cognate, gester. The usual sound changes from the Old English word would have yielded modern English jest, meaning person entertained for pay. At an inn, yeah, this is extending beyond what it should have been. From late 13th century Old English also had kuma, stranger, guest, literally a comer, corner. It's hard to read this, it looks like RN. A comer, phrase be my guest, in the sense of go right ahead. Be my guest, go right ahead. Early 14th century, verb, received as a guest, be a guest, appear as a guest performer. Should I be looking at the root of host, hospitality? Host, ghost. Host, ghost.
No, Haba Baba! Haba Baba? Yeah.
Well, we pretty much extracted what we needed. Back to the terminal. Okay, let's see what that is. Don't kill the cat! Ha! Cyanide is a prescription medicine used to treat various medical conditions. It is used to treat benign prostatic hyperplasia in men, which is a condition where the prostate gland becomes bigger, making it more difficult to pass urine. Cyanide also helps control BPH by reverting the enlarged prostate gland to the previous state, improving the flow of urine and minimizing the need for surgery. It is also used to treat male pattern hair loss by blocking the production of a male hormone responsible for hair growth. So apparently one of the hormones that is responsible for hair growth is also responsible for hair loss. Is that what I'm supposed to gather from this? Cyanide, 120 milligrams tablet, an anti-allergy medicine used to treat allergic symptoms such as runny nose. Another entry for the word. Congestion of stuffiness, sneezing, itching, swelling, and watery eyes. It may be taken with or without food. In the dose and duration as advised by the doctor. Cyanide 120 milligrams tablet provides relief from symptoms such as sneezing, itching, watery eyes, and runny nose. Rarely has any serious side effects. Let's see if we're going to be able to find it in Wiki. Oh, my eyes. Reading white text on a black background makes my eyes... I get this shutter effect. I should look that up as well. Finasteride, used to treat pattern hair loss, benign prostatic hyperplasia in men, BPH. It can also be used to treat excessive hair growth in women. It is usually taken orally, but there are topical formulations for patients with hair loss designed to minimize systemic exposure by acting specifically on hair follicles. It's a 5-alpha reductase inhibitor and therefore an anti-androgen, clickety-click, testosterone blockers. It works by decreasing the production of dihydrotestosterone by about 70%. Medical uses: enlarged prostate, scalp hair loss, prostate cancer, excessive hair growth, transgender hormone therapy. Adverse effects: a 2010 Cochrane review found that for BPH found that in men with a weighted mean age of 62.4, adverse effects are rare. Nevertheless, men taking finasteride are at increased risk for impotence, erectile dysfunction, decreased libido, and ejaculation disorder versus placebo. As of 2016, fresh evidence suggested such effects along with disturbed neural steroid production may persist after finasteride is stopped. Sexual adverse effects: finasteride for androgenic alopecia, hair loss in men. For BPH, long-term may cause persistent adverse sexual, neurological, and physical effects. Oh, and there's a post-finasteride syndrome, but its validity is questioned within the medical community. Led to post-finasteride syndrome, PFS, post-sexual neurological... Yeah, what they just mentioned there. Overdose. That's worth it to look up as well. Has been studied in humans at single doses up to 400 milligrams and at continuous dosages up to 80 milligrams per day for 3 months without adverse effects observed. There is no specific recommended antidote for finasteride overdose. I don't think that any drug is supposed to be overdosed. Pharmacology, pharmacokinetics, chemistry, history, synthetic steroid, analogs of androgen steroid hormones like testosterone and DHT. As an unconjugated steroid, finasteride is highly lipophilic compound. I think that means that it likes fats. Dissolves in fats lipids, yes. Thanks to a friend that told me what that refers to today. Back to our friend, the terminal. We're looking at the latest topics. Don't kill the cat! Ha! I heard this on a TV show, our version of Millionaire. This is the Zygarnik effect, named after Lithuanian Soviet psychologist Bluma Zygarnik. In psychology, the Zygarnik effect occurs when an activity that has been interrupted may more readily be recalled. The question was, according to this study, or this theory of this effect, if a person is trying to forget a melody of a song, what they should do, or whether they should tap their foot or start singing, or I don't know what the possible answers were. The Zygarnik effect occurs when an activity that has been interrupted may more readily be recalled. So apparently if you're trying to forget it, you're not intending to directly interrupt it. Your brain is trying to finish off whatever process it has started earlier. It postulates that people remember unfinished or interrupted tasks better than completed tasks. Tell me about it. How am I going to edit this? Yeah. In Gestalt psychology, we'll read that later, the Zygarnik effect has been used to demonstrate the general presence of the Gestalt phenomena, not appearing as perceptual effects, but also present in cognition. The Zygarnik effect should not be confused with the Ovsiankina effect. Maria Ovsiankina A colleague of Zygarnik invested... Yeah, there's a little fly. That's my pet fly flying around. A colleague of Zygarnik investigated the effect of task interruption on the tendency to resume the task at the next opportunity. Oh, so that's the opposite, I guess. The Zygarnik students who suspend their study to perform unrelated activities will remember the material better than students who complete the study sessions without a break. Hard rule. Sports writer Matt Moore has suggested that the Zygarnik effect can explain the widespread criticism of the National Basketball Association (NBA) in allowing free throws for a player, chucking it up whenever a guy comes near them. There is a stoppage of play with each foul. When repeatedly done, it is felt to build up a cognitive bias against the move. The criticism necessitated a rule change penalizing this activity known as the Harden rule in basketball. Named after its most prominent user, James Harden. Chucking it up whenever a guy comes near them. Oh, it's not even on his page! The off-season that allowed players from leaning into defenders and relying on non-basketball moves to draw foul calls. James Harden was made a living by drawing fouls, has been significantly impacted by the change. Harden referred to some interaction as clear fouls. Referees have been instructed not to call fouls drawn by unnatural motions, such as an offensive player leaning or jumping into contact. The reliability of the effect has been a matter of some controversy. Let's see. Song. Stuck in your head. How to stop a song playing in your head. Moonbog says, next time you have a song playing in your head that you just can't shake, try thinking about the ending of the song. Your brain is glitching out. It thinks that there is some task you started but did not finish, and the song in your head is repeating itself based on this failed task completion safety mechanism. The mechanism has been studied, documented, and labeled as the Zygarnik effect that results in a kind of cognitive anxiety about an unfinished task. It's probably going to be the Rick Astley song. For some reason, your brain grabs a hold of the song and the Zygarnik effect takes over, resulting in a cognitive broken record, never allowing the song to finish. This is why specifically thinking about the ending of the song can help ease your brain into thinking that the song task is finished. It may finally go quiet. Don't kill the cat. And what is Gestalt psychology? German word Gestalt, as interpreted as pattern or configuration. Gestalt psychologists emphasize that organisms perceive entire patterns or configurations, not merely individual components. The view is sometimes summarized as using the adage, the whole is more than the sum of its parts. Gestalt psychology was founded by Max Wertheimer, Wolfgang Kohler, and Kurt Kofka. Proverb adage. Next. Random topic. Oh, we're doing pretty good in time. Don't kill the cat! Ha! Ichabod, biblical figure. Without glory, where is the glory? It's mentioned in the first book of Samuel. Sorry about the stomping if it's audible in the mic. Who was born on the day that the Israelites' Ark of God was taken into Palestine captivity? What are we reading? Hebrew Bible, Judaism. Israelites. Children of Israel. Back to Ichabod. Etymology. The glory has departed from Israel because of the loss of the Ark to the Philistines. She repeats the phrase, the glory has departed from Israel. Oh no, it's CSI. Officer Metcalf. Dispatch Unit 584 is a code for. We got a couple girls joyriding. Grissom 419. More like a 4. Brass lifts up the trunk hood. Inside trunk. Yes, I think it was a head. Ichabod was horror-struck on perceiving that he was headless. Brass glances at Grissom. Sleepy Hollow? Grissom glances at Brass. Vitreous humor is glazed over. What does that mean? 6 to 8 hours ago, somebody lost their head. Then, somebody lost their head. Dun, da-dun, dun, da-dun. Let's just look up the quote. Sleepy Hollow. The legend of Sleepy Hollow. On mounting a rising ground, which brought the figure of his fellow traveler in relief against the sky, gigantic in height and muffled in a cloak, Ichabod was horror-struck on perceiving that he was headless. Washington Irving, The Legend of the Sleepy Hollow. Context. So, rewind. We're looking up Ichabod from The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, 1820 short story by American author Washington Irving, contained in his collection of 34 essays and short stories titled The Sketch Book of Geoffrey Crayon Gent. Irving wrote the story while living in Birmingham, England, along with Irving's companion piece, Rip Van Winkle. The Legend of Sleepy Hollow is among the earliest examples of American fiction with enduring popularity, especially during Halloween, because of a character known as the Headless Horseman, believed to be a Hessian soldier who was decapitated by a cannonball in battle. In 1949, the second film adaptation was produced by Walt Disney as one of two segments in the package film Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad. So that's the Headless Horseman, the mythical figure who has appeared in folklore around the world since the Middle Ages. The figure is traditionally depicted as a rider upon horseback who is missing his head. In Irish folklore and Scottish folklore and German folklore, popular culture, books, comics, film, television, Hey Arnold, video games, miscellaneous. Obviously it's a horror, maybe children's story. Story set in 1790, not writing in close to present day. That should be an example for modern art. Sleepy Hollow is renowned for its ghosts and the haunting atmosphere. Hey, it's almost Halloween. So this is appropriate. Oh, my next stream is on Halloween. And the haunting atmosphere that pervades the imaginations of its inhabitants and visitors. Some residents say this town was bewitched during the early days of the Dutch settlement, while others claim that the mysterious atmosphere was caused by an old Native American chief, the wizard of his tribe, before the country was discovered by Master Hendrik Hudson. Residents of the town are seemingly subjected to various supernatural and mysterious occurrences. The second chapter of the Epistle to the Ephesians in the New Testament of the Christian Bible traditionally is believed to have been written by Apostle Paul while he was in prison in Rome around 62 AD, but more recently has been suggested it was written between 80 and 100 AD by another writer using Paul's name and style. Well, you can see the remains of the papyrus. So we have mixed religion, folklore, mystery, horror stories in this topic, which is just a little quote that my pal Grissom from CSI used as his opening statement in this episode of season 1 of CSI. That was nice. Thank you for joining me in the 4th episode of How Am I Gonna Edit This? I hope you had fun. I still haven't decided how exactly I'm gonna cut them up to decide on the format. Hello to Grace Oliver. I'm staring at the screen. Thank you for joining the stream. I hope it has been entertaining. Hopefully the following episodes are even more fun. I'm not planning to stream and record every Tuesday, but I am planning to work on DKTC every Tuesday. I wanted to figure out how to upload on, what was that, Odyssey. You have to go through this long approval process. You have to message us on Discord to make sure that you're not a bot. There was something like with some points or something. I have no idea how that works. This reward will show in your wallet. No need to understand it all just yet. You got it, dude. Okay, let's put it this way. The easiest way to present these streams is to directly upload them as they are and then have each topic separated. I still haven't gotten a good feeling of the average length of each segment. That's going to be a determining factor of how I'm going to present the content. The original idea was to upload a shorter version of the stream, make it like a full video, and then upload like extended, the full versions of each topic separately. But I might do the opposite, where I upload the full stream and then a shorter version. Maybe I could just do the easiest thing if I ever manage to stop digressing and messing up, but especially in a live stream, that's gonna be hard to do. But the idea is to have as little editing remaining as possible. But I really do want to keep the full episode shorter. My idea was whoever wants to look at a specific topic, I'll have all of everything that I mentioned on stream in the recording. But then in the compiled version where everything is all together, I'll have just the most important parts cut out. Anyway, thank you for joining Don't Kill the Cat, episode number 4. Don't kill the cat! Ha!